Ah, I'm on time. See, soon as it said 9:30, I'm on time. What's up, everybody? This is Doggie Diamonds. This is Doggie Diamonds CVC. I don't think y'all really be knowing the preparation that goes into doing this. You know, sometimes when you make it look easy, people think it's easy, but for anybody who do what I do, there's a few people who do what I do. They don't do it the way I do it. But anybody who does this could tell you this is not easy because you have to organize with guests. You have to get the time, and then you have to do like an audio check. You got to do a sound check. So even sometimes in the middle of doing the show, I have to do an audio check to make sure the audio is right. And it is what it is. But thank you everybody for joining me. Yesterday, y'all know I've been going so hard. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Yesterday, I was tired. I climbed into bed and I just went straight. I didn't even go to sleep. I just sat there and I was like, damn, I should have just went live if I was gonna sit here. But I needed a day of rest. Feel rejuvenated, hit the gym earlier. As promised, I got a guest tonight. As promised, I got a guest tonight. I told y'all who was coming. You seen since yesterday who was gonna come on here. And many of y'all might not even know who she is, but I think you should know who she is. That's why she's on the platform. So if you can, when you come in the room, get them likes up, hit that like button. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring to the screen, and I'll let you introduce yourself to the people. What's your name?
My name is Khadejia, aka Khadejia Bass.
Khadejia Bass. So Khadejia. So we doing a one name artist thing. Just Khadejia.
Khadejia. Khadejia.
What did they know you as before? It was always Khadejia?
It was always Khadejia.
Always Khadejia.
Yes.
So Khadejia, well, damn. Shall I tell them how long we knew each other?
Absolutely.
So I knew Khadejia since 1992, right?
Yes.
And I think we was kiddies. You know, we was kiddies.
Babies.
We was babies, and we was at this big it was a book that was coming out, and they had like all these groups singing. So Khadejia was there, Lisa was there. We was the kids. We was the only kids there.
Yes.
Everybody else was
of Muhammad Ali. Was that?
I think it was. It was called songs. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell them what it is because they might look it up and find us. So we're not telling them what it is. They might be like, "That was you," but
I was gonna say I was cute.
No. You. I've listen. I've never seen you look bad ever. And I told you, I remember what you had on that day and everything. I remember because I remember everybody was like, "Yo, who's that?" And everybody was like, "Oh, that's Teddy Riley artist." I was like, "Wow!" Like, and because so my focus. I was young. I seen Lisa. So I was like, "Yo, Lisa. Wow. Oh wow! Like." That's Lisa. So, you know, I never saw her since I was maybe like a little kid since I Take You Home. So we saw Lisa. But needless to say, it was a star-studded event.
Yes.
And we was there. I don't even know I was there because I wasn't even supposed to be on no song like that. But Lords of the Underground was there. The Youngsters was there. Everybody was there.
God bless the dead. Kenny from Intro was there. Was there. Aaron Hall was there. Elder Barge was there. It was amazing.
So I was there with all these R&B people. I'm there thinking I'm a little gangster, but I was like, oh, wow, there goes. So, you know, growing up, when we see like Aaron Hall and stuff, because I used to always see Aaron Hall in Brooklyn because he used to always be at Proline doing stuff with his car. He had like a Wrangler or something like that. He used to always be getting a system put in his car. So I've known you since then. We've connected, disconnected, saw each other in passing, but I've known you for a while. And then when I heard you on this record, I didn't know that was you. But then when I saw you on another record, I knew it was you. I remembered you. But this one particular record, I didn't know it was you. So if y'all don't know who she is, you mind telling them where they definitely know you from?
They would definitely know me from singing "Ain't No Nigga" on Jay-Z's record.
Say that again.
"Ain't No Nigga" on Jay-Z's record, on his first a B-side to the Dead Presidents.
Can you do it? Can you say it?
Ain't no nigga like the one I got.
I'm supposed to do Jazzo? I'm not doing Jazzo.
And you know what's crazy? You can't do Jazzo. That's crazy. We gotta get him to come in. Can you sing?
Well, I can see you just fine.
You can sing?
Oh no, I can't. No, I can't sing.
So then you can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play myself. So This is Khadejia. She sung on Jay-Z's B-side record, Ain't No
Yes.
Nigga, featuring Foxy Brown. That was her in the video. And she's from my borough, but this is her. So when you see the Jay-Z song and you see her sitting there with Jazzo, that is her right there. This is Khadejia. So now y'all know who she is. Now y'all know why I brought her on here. So also she did a song with a group called the Mysterious Misfits. That's where I know you from. When I first saw, I was like, that's Khadejia, because Ain't No Nigga. You wasn't standing up, so I just saw your face. But in that, I definitely knew who you was. Was that after Jay-Z?
The Misfits was before. Let's see. Yes, way before.
Way before.
Jay-Z. Yes. Way before, because my mother had to come with me to that video shoot.
Whoa.
Yes. My mother, she came with me. She went shopping with the stylist for the clothes for me. Like, she was not playing. She was very supportive throughout my whole career, but she was like, okay, well, I'm coming, you know. And in most of the things that I've been involved in, I was usually like one of the only girls in the mix. So she was like, oh no, I'm coming. And just to make sure that everything was okay.
So y'all could look up Mysterious Misfits Upside Down. That is her in the video.
Shout to TVT Records. I think Brian Leach, shout out to Brian Leach. They were his artists at the time. He signed them to TVT Records, and you know, they had a real good situation there. I was so proud of them, and they are still super awesome in the world.
Now you have in this group Peekaboo, Rubber Band, and Mushmouth. So Mushmouth went on to be EPMD dancer. He was EPMD dancer before that. Yes. And Rubber Band was a dancer too. But they all were dancers that end up being in the rap group.
Absolutely.
Enough about them.
Yes.
Ain't No Nigga. Like, how you get on this record? Like, this, did you, all right, when you do Ain't No Nigga, did you know I'm about to be on one of the biggest songs ever?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I think there's an ego part of all artists that say, you know, I'm just hot. You know, everything I lace is hot. And at that time, I was singing on numerous artists, choruses, and I was in the studio all the time, whether it was rap music, R&B music, house music, reggae music. You know, the list goes on. And so, you know, when my brothers called me, you know, Jazzo called me and said, hey, you know, we're doing this record. He didn't explain to what magnitude, you know, the vision that they had. Inga had already laid her vocal. I went down to the infamous D&D studio, you know, and Jay sitting there, you know, everybody's just kind of cool. There was no entourage. It was real, just, you know, we working, we doing this. So then Jazz said, you know, we don't want you to belt it out like Patti LaBelle. We want you to like just sing it so that all the girls around the world could see themselves singing this part. And I was like, okay, you know, and I don't know, it was something in me that always knew how to interpret what either a rapper or singers, you know, wanted. And you know, Jazzo is actually a singer, so he's able to interpret, but he just kind of gave me an idea. He played the OJ record. He kind of said, you know, this is, you know, the vibe already, but we want you to just kind of, and I was like, okay. You know, I tried to find the most baby girl voice I could find, and boom. And then I remember Jay jumping up. He was like, yes, that's it. And I said, really? And he was like, yes. And he said, okay, I think I told you the story that D&D was a little, it was a place where everybody went, MOP, everybody went to lay down their stuff.
Gang Squad, boot camp. It was very hood.
And they were banging out, you know, records prior to me getting there. When I got there, the speakers were blown out. All the bass and the speakers were blown out. So
y'all was doing it to treble?
It was just all treble. So I'm listening to the track and I'm like, honestly, in my mind, I was like, what the hell is this? And then the cans, only one side was working. So me and Jazz is listening to one side, you know, I mean, classic shit. And we laid down the vocal, and in my mind, in my ego diva vocalist thing, I laid down the vocal, and I was like, all right, and we went out. Internally, and I never said this, I was a little torn because I grew up in a household with a mother and father who instilled in our family not to use the word nigga. You see. And my father was real, like he's Malcolm X's brother, you know,
Damn.
like he was really, and my uncles, you know, and my family, extended family, we were raised not to use that word. And so when Jazzo told me what I was going to be singing, internally, I was like, wow. It was like telling me to put on a thong right there and film, you know, like in my mind.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
my dad and my mom is going to hear this. So that was my little battle. And then, so I literally had to go home and wait. I didn't tell them right away. I didn't tell them right away. I didn't think nothing of it. In my mind, I was like, nobody's going to hear it.
So when you go there, what I want the artist to know, when you get the call to do this, how does the fee work? What do they work out with you? Or are they just like saying, oh, you come in here, you doing this? Like, what do you think you're going to do? Like, what is going to be your role after you sing this?
It's so the thing that's very interesting about session singers
Okay.
is that we have an understanding that there's a scale. So if you're doing things through quote unquote AFTRA and the union, there's a basic scale that you can charge. You can work things out individually with the artists, and then you're paid as a session singer. So you're paid that one time.
So meaning that you go there, you sing, they give you some bread, and you don't even realize that this is about to be on the soundtrack. This is about to be a big record. So you don't get no residuals, no kickback, nothing.
No. In this case especially, there was no writing. I didn't write a lyric. I didn't change any arrangements. I was a vocal. My voice was utilized for the chorus, and that's it. And as a child, you're not understanding the publishing aspect. You're not questioning, well, okay, well, I know I'm not writing, give me some of that publishing, or give me just a little percentage or whatever. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking, I did this for my people, boom, they paid me, let me get out. And again, like I said to you, I didn't think anything of the record.
Did you ever get at least credit?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's because so you're in the credits on the song.
I'm not a feature, but I am a credit.
Okay.
And so again, as a child, you're not thinking about the details, and there was no one championing for me to say, like, no, dude, you're singing the chorus on this record with Jazzo, your name needs to be, a feature. And like, it wasn't like that, and again, I was singing on a lot of things and kind of just running, doing it for the love. Like, I love music, so as a child, you just kind of, and I'm getting the calls, so in my mind, I'm doing the right thing. I'm not really understanding the business, which most of us did not.
So the sad thing, the good thing is you're on a huge record. You actually did the video too. Take me to the video shoot. What was the video shoot like, and what was the atmosphere of the video? Because Biggie's there, rest in peace to the bro. Biggie's there, C's is there, and Inga is there on the. So what is this like?
Amazing, especially while it's happening. I got the call from Dame Dash directly, like, where are you? And I was singing with someone somewhere, and he was like, you got to get back to New York, because the ticket for you is in New York, and you got to fly out here to Miami. We get ready to do the video to that record. What record? And he said, that record ain't no nigga. So he said, where have you been? Like, Flex is playing it all over the radio, everybody's. So I was like, what are you okay. So I rushed back to New York. It's a snowstorm. And I get my ace, Ophia Thomas. Shout out to our team, Ophia Thomas. I get my ace. She was on my team back then. And we get our stuff together, snorkeled. I don't know if you remember the high-tech boots. Like, of course. So we were all blacked down, still. And we get on the plane. They had to de-ice the plane like 3 times. It was snowing so hard. When I think about it, someone had like, not a heart attack, but some type of attack in the front in the business class. So then they had to de-ice the plane again, get the person off the plane. Oh God, it was crazy. Then when we finally got in the air, you know, the turbulence, the snow, so we were really, really scared. And by the time we got to Miami, it was 85 degrees at 2:30 in the morning.
So
And we get into the cab. When we got to the hotel, and I remember this verbatim, Biggie was outside with C's and I believe D. And God bless the dead. I miss Biggie, but he was so sweet. He said, "Oh my God," he saw the way we looked. He said, "Man, go upstairs, put your bags upstairs. I got something for you," And they was sipping on Mai Tais, and oh my God, we had so much fun. So we kind of relaxed once we got there. What I did not know, because our people are so gracious with organization, I did not know that my shoot was at 7 o'clock in the morning.
whoa.
And so that was 2:30. So I'm sipping on the Mai Tai just to calm my behind down. And, I go upstairs. And we fell asleep. Next thing you know, we heard boop, 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 boop. So we open the door. Yo, 7 o'clock, shooting, so we go downstairs. Everybody's downstairs. Shout out to Mike Geronimo. Big.
I just spoke to Mike today on Clubhouse. Shout out to Mike Geronimo.
That's my heart.
I just got Mike number. Facts. I just spoke to Mike today on Clubhouse. That's how the universe works.
I sang on the record with Mike Geronimo too.
We'll get into that.
Him out, yeah. And it just was, the family was out there, and so that made everything really, really easy to do. The stylist was there for Inga, and several of the models, and I remember looking in the suitcase like, okay, and the bathing suits were not even half the size of my areola alone, so it was like, okay, we can't do that. And literally put on I think it was a Guess green t-shirt I had on at that table and some stretch pants, and I said, you know what, we're gonna do this part. And we sat there and we did the video. It was very well done. You got to see the Nutty Professor side of it, the car spinning, and it was a really big production. I had no idea. Like, Dane was just like, get your ass here. And when I got there, we got a chance to see all of that stuff, and it was really amazing. And just to be a part of it, it started to become clear to me, my father's and my mother's gonna hear this record.
Oh yeah, like I'm in trouble now. So how did you break the news to the parents?
I had to call them and say, hey, I did this record, because again, I was doing a lot of stuff. I did this record with Jay and Jazzo, and I say the word nigga in it. So my father was like, why did you do that? So I was like, it was a part of the record, and he just said, was that necessary? And I'm like, yeah, it was necessary. He was like, okay. So again, I think in his mind, he was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to see this. And then the record was like, it took off. So everybody was calling him like, your daughter is in the video to this record. But they're excited. He's like, oh.
Yeah. He's like, why? Why did you really have to say the N-word? So the record blows up. Did you ever perform it with him live anywhere?
I got a chance to, yes. There were really some amazing shows in New York. There was a really big show, and I don't know if you remember this. It was at the Arc in Brooklyn.
That was very, very serious place. That was in Flatbush.
That was in Flat place. And when we arrived, I never forget. Probably all of us, Tata, all of the whole crew, and we all got out the car. And shout out to Beast. Beast had his whole security team out in front of the Arc. All of them had German Shepherds, Pit Bulls, whatever you can name, and they were all in front of the place, just keeping everybody kind of in line. And we go into the Arc, and have you ever been inside?
Yes, I performed the Arc, yeah. So
you go inside, and it's that one little tunnel that goes to the back where the stage is. Mm-hmm. But the whole place is packed. And Video Music Box was there that night. Shout out to Ralph McDaniels.
The GOAT.
Uncle Ralph.
The GOAT.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And the uncle.
Yes, yes.
And he introduced us. We got on. It was so many people. It was so packed, and I just remember just going through all the people, getting on that stage, and we just performed. I got a chance to do the Ark, and I got a chance to do, I believe it was Studio 54. It was a big show with Big.
Wow.
And I thought that the stage revolved because when we were on the stage, it got so hyped with us performing that the stage was moving because the audience was pushing it. That's how packed it was, and it was like right up on the stage, and fight broke out on the stage.
Wow.
And that's what ended that show. But awesome show. Like, I just, I didn't get a chance to tour the world with them. But I definitely got a chance to perform with them here in New York, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, that was an awesome experience.
So Jay-Z, when you do your 25th year, 35th year, 40th year anniversary for Reasonable Doubt, when you do Ain't No Nigga, call her homegirl. She's still ready. She'll do her little 2 bars like it ain't nothing. So you there for that call, right?
I did not get the call.
No, I'm talking about you're there for the first. You didn't get the call, but future references, you're there for the call.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So no, we got to put it in the universe. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Oh no, we put it in the universe because, what's awesome is, especially as classic as these records are, and as awesome of a generation that we are, and the impact that we've had on hip hop and music overall, all the pieces are important. You know,
every cog in the engine.
All of it. And so absolutely I'm available, and still got it.
Yes. Yeah. So the record comes out, it blows up everywhere. Yes. What happens with your career after that? Because you already was working, you already had, you were already known, but what happens with your career after this?
What's awesome is, and this is very interesting when I think back, I did not come into the game as a young lady saying, I want to be Whitney, or I want to be Chaka, or I want to be Stephanie Mills. I wanted to sing, period. And I kind of mirrored myself after those that did it before me. Shout out to Angie Stone, shout out to, those sisters who started singing in the background at first, and Lisa Fisher's, and those divas.
They don't know who Lisa Fisher is. You gonna make me put?
I will name them because, and they can Google them, because those are the women. I mean, Lisa Fisher started out singing behind Luther Vandross, and the Cindy Mizell and Audrey Wheeler, and these women are still working and singing for Chaka Khan.
Question: Cindy Mizell, that's from Beat Street. This Could Be the Night.
Yes.
I love, you see, I know music. That's one of my favorite records. This Could Be the Night. You
should have a hand clap for that.
I am a hip hop historian. My hip hop knowledge is off the hook. But go ahead.
Yes, and
I love that song.
Yes, well, all of the divas have history and records that they were able to put out. Tawatha Aji with Mtume, she did Juicy. Like, all of them are my sisters. I've actually come to work with. Where is she? She's out. She's here.
What's funny about her, right? I was looking to see if she ever did a solo, and she did do a solo. Yeah, and she did do a solo. But I love Juicy Fruit, but there's a part of Juicy that's an extended version that people don't know. And then the You, Me, He, and She, that, oh my God. And what I did love about the old singers was it didn't matter how they looked. It didn't matter none of that. It was the talent was the forefront. It wasn't, they didn't have to be light-skinned. They didn't have to be voluptuous. They didn't have to be fake, because Lisa Fisher, that's How Could I Ease the Pain, right?
Absolutely.
And that's big vocals. That's huge vocals.
Huge.
But go ahead. Let me be quiet. So, keep naming these dope names.
So Nikki Richards. And I mirrored myself. Not only after them, I ended up singing with them. Shout out to Will Downing, who introduced me to the Clan, and I wound up doing house music records with them, jingles, commercials, and so I didn't come into the game desiring initially to be a solo artist. That wasn't, they didn't resonate with me at first
Mm-hmm.
because I was so sought after as a background vocalist. Um, and it was working for me initially. I got my experience. I got to travel the world maybe 5 or 6 times in my
Mm.
lifetime. I think
Mm.
I'm on my fifth passport right now, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and and so I wasn't thinking about being a vocalist. So you say my career initially was me supporting groups, artists, you know, sessions, and that was my career. And being affiliated, because Jay-Z was in '96, I started singing when
Yeah,
I was
prior. Yeah.
really a baby,
Yeah.
and I sang. And shout out to Kango from UTFO. I need to shout him
Wow.
out. And he's made an announcement, and he's not feeling that well. And God bless you, Kango. And we are all praying for you. Um, he brought me to um, meet Full Force to sing on
Wow.
my actual first track that I wound up singing on, which was a Buster Poindexter record. Go figure. Like he wanted to be a singer, and I wound up singing on that. And there's the story even goes a little further back. Vandy C and Bill Blass, and I said I would not forget this, who were the only disc jockeys on the radio, on Mega Evers Radio, a college radio station, who
Whoa.
played rap music in the daytime.
Mm.
I was a the phone answer as my summer job,
Wow.
and they knew I can sing. So every artist that came through, they would be like, "You got to hear this young girl sing," and they would be like, "Eh." And Kango was the one. And when he heard me sing, he was like, "Wow!" And he brought me to Full Force.
And you end up doing that. So you
And
also
got paid
work.
for it.
You also worked with was it Guy or Teddy Riley or both?
I worked with Guy, Aaron Holt, oh, Stanley Brown. Shout out to Stanley Brown.
Keyboard player.
Yeah, not just the keyboard player.
No,
He
but when I think about Stanley Brown, I think here's a solo from a homie Stanley Brown. Yeah, like yeah.
pause.
Pause. Yeah, pause. Yes, I love
So
pause.
Stanley Brown was um, not only a keyboard player, but he is a producer and now responsible for most of the gospel singers that we listen to in the industry. But back then, again, we were all children,
Mm.
and he took me to a church function that we at Empire Skate Rink,
Wow.
and he was like, "I'm gonna introduce you to one of my partners, Aaron Hall. He's working on this album with Teddy Riley and this kid from Harlem and and whatever he was, and so he brings me to the affair. We're all skating like the kids that we were, and Aaron Hall rolls up to me, and Stanley Brown introduces it. He's like, "Hi," and he was like, "I heard so much about you." So basically, he wanted me to come down and audition.
Mm.
And if anybody remembers that time, which was a wonderful time for our music, people were really fans. It was New Edition and it was Guy, and
Facts.
the other groups were like trickling down. So, and Teddy was so huge of a producer that everybody wanted to be in his mix. So I went down to the office first. I got the cassette tape, and they told me to learn Piece of My Love.
Wow.
And I was baby girl. Again, the only one whose mother had to be involved.
Good thing though.
Yes.
We'll get into that. We'll continue.
I went down to the audition. There was a line around the block. I forget the rehearsal studio in Manhattan. And I was like, oh my God. My cousin was with me. Shout out to Elise Murray. And she was like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?" And I was like, "I don't know." So then Aaron sticks his head out the door, Khadejia, and I go, and he said, "No, come." So I skipped the line. And we go. Oh, I'm sorry, ladies. I love them, but they called me upstairs. We go inside. Everybody's on stage. Teddy is playing the keyboard. It's like 1, 2, 3, 3 keyboards in addition to his 2 percussion, um, bass guitar, bass and guitar. I'm sorry, and 3. I'm sorry, 1, 2. So it's 2 background singers, Damien and Michelle Hammond, and then it was me, and they put me right on the stage, and they said, "Okay, we're gonna do Piece of My Love." So all the band, Dinky, shout out to Dinky Bingham, Stanley Brown, everybody was on stage, and they were like looking at me. So here goes Piece of My Love, and if everybody remembers that record, the chorus is right at the top. Boom, boom, I do love you, and they were like,
So you're singing on that?
So on no. Okay. I'm not singing on that song on the album. This is the audition.
Audition, okay.
Yes. And then next thing I know, I was signing up to go on tour.
Wow.
And our first show was Jack the Rapper.
Wow. So can you clarify something for me if you know? I've been trying to figure this out for 10 years. On Goodbye Love, is that Tammy Lucas?
Yes, it is.
I knew that was Tammy Lucas singing that. Because her name is not on there nowhere, but I know voices. And I'm like, that's Tammy Lucas on Goodbye Love. Oh, man.
We all did it for the love. And the thing that you're thinking about as a child. And I hope that this is one of the messages that resonates from this interview for those who are trying to do it and doing it and not knowing what they're doing and understanding what they're doing is to learn the business.
Business, yes.
And so Tammy Lucas, and I can't speak for her, this is not her interview, but I'm imagining that she didn't say, "Oh, make sure my name is credited correctly."
Yes, because
my name, you know.
Let me tell you, it was so bad. I hit Teddy Riley's daughter on Facebook, which was a shot in the dark. But I was like, could you just ask your father, is that Tammy Lucas? Because I need to know this just for, again, I'm a credit reader. But when I heard, is it good to you later on, I'm Tammy. Like, that's the same girl from Goodbye Love.
Tammy.
You know, damn, Tammy Lucas was incredible.
Yes, so, and she was there earlier than I was. So I never got a chance to actually sing on a Guy record.
Wow.
But I did do the Guy video, Let's Stay Together.
Wow. I got to look that up.
Yes. And my hair was black and it was similar to this. And we got a lot of airplay on that video. So, I'm just so thankful shout out to Teddy Riley. Just because I had that tutelage, and when I say training, it was like boot camp. The learning that we did as artists, musicians. I got a chance to sing and play with some of the best known musicians today. Through him, I got a chance to sing on the two Bobby Brown records.
Wait, which ones? We got.
I got a Getaway.
Wow, you singing on Getaway?
Getaway, yes.
Wow.
And it was another record. It escapes me. We wound up going on. That's a separate tour. I wound up going on the My Prerogative tour with Mary. But we didn't get there yet. So
we going there.
So yes, with Teddy Riley, just being affiliated with his camp, and just having that training. My career going forward was almost seamless, where people would hire me that never even heard me sing, just because of who I was down with.
How difficult is it live? Is it like a 1, 2, 3, go? Like, how do you hear? Because I always look at the stage, and I'd be like, do y'all have monitors in your ears and stuff? Okay, yeah.
We didn't have them in our ears. The bigger tours, and maybe now, if it wasn't COVID, maybe everyone would have ear monitors, but the background singers and musicians only had stage floor monitors.
Yes.
And it was very difficult initially, because even if you sound check, usually when you go and hit,
the acoustics is different once it fills up. Yep.
Everything is louder, and you usually are kind of performing from memory. And I have rehearsal, but I've also listened to myself strangely in the house, and that it's a slight delay. So it's very interesting how that happens.
Yeah, because for the real artists out there who go, you have something called, well, singers have a band, but
Yes.
real artists go in there with a TV track, and the TV track is just the chorus and the
Correct.
ad libs. That's it. You do all your vocals. So you do sound check to make sure that you're not too loud on the microphone or too low on the mic. But then you don't factor in, once this place fills up, the acoustics is gonna change. So a lot of times you might see artists saying, turn my mic up,
They
because
might
they
do
can't
something.
hear themselves, or
Mhm.
they hype man to switch microphones, so, and then the group before you had their settings. The group was, so a lot of times as an artist, the best thing to do is have your sound man go in the sound booth and mark down where you want your vocals to be. And so when you go on the stage, instead of all your mans trying to get on the stage with you and shine, have one of your people go to the sound booth and make sure that your mic is up and that. So instead of all everybody wanting to be the hype man and on the stage, no, somebody go to the booth and make sure, turn him up. So that's the best thing to do. So you're
You're
doing a
saying
band. Yeah,
you're
so
saying several things. You're saying make sure that you're sound man, and so if you're not, if you're the headline artist, you will have your sound
sound man,
people, and they will
yes.
make sure that you, if you are the opening act, you'll be lucky if you can hear yourself on that damn stage, and
Facts.
so um it's a challenge. And you mentioned another thing back in those days, although Teddy Riley is a master at creating people's shows with the TV track, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, we were still performing really live. There were no vocals recorded when we first went out. It
Mm.
wasn't until the artists, R&B artists, back then got bigger, and the venue got bigger, and you started having to do stadiums and whatever it is that you do that had a lot of people, that it became popular to have the TV track to fill the vocal and to fill the sound of the
Yes.
show.
Yep.
So I remember when we got upset initially that we're going to be singing on top of vocals,
Yes.
because we were
Yes.
all singers, and on the stage, the keyboard player was singing, the drummer was singing, like we were all
Everybody had a mic.
six-part, vocals on stage, and we took pride in us sounding not only like the record, but even better than the record when you heard us live. So when Teddy started programming the vocals, because the show started getting bigger, we were like, oh, what are we doing?
Is he? Are y'all
And
using DATs at this time?
wow, yes, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact,
Yes.
yes.
DATs. DATs. Oh man, I used to love the sound of the DAT though.
And with him, you hear footsteps.
Yep. Yep.
He programmed every movement that they had, and it was just huge. And working with him was it was an amazing experience. We got a chance to work around him when he was creating the Remember the Time record and the whole Michael Jackson project.
So
So that
you
was
so you met Michael Jackson too?
we did. He came to our show that we did in LA, and Teddy didn't tell us that he was coming. And then we were on stage, and Michael was sitting right in the middle of the arena. What's that arena in LA that everybody performs? Oh God, it's been so long. But he was sitting right in the middle, and I never forget because
You
Michael was
froze?
tall.
Michael
We were
Jackson was
all
tall?
on stage. He was tall.
Wow.
Michael Jackson was tall. He had long ass arms. He had long fingers and long arms. He had a long torso. And of course, he was light, and his hair was fabulous. He had the black swoop with the curl and stuff. So, when he stood up, it was like, it's Michael Jackson.
Did you freeze automatically?
We all kind of we looked at each other,
Uh-huh.
but we kept performing, and he was in the audience, and he was, that he came backstage and he said hi to every single one of us, shook our hands, smiled. Oh my God, you sound amazing,
I heard he talked in that voice, but his voice was really like, "What's good, my nigga Khadejia?"
You know
That was
what?
really his
No,
voice. Nah.
no. I will say no.
Okay.
Prince's
Yeah,
voice
Prince has a very
was deep,
yeah.
and he was very, very, hello, how are you?
Wow.
Michael, he was like, hey, you all sound really great, We were like,
So when you meet Michael Jackson, I think no matter how macho you are, you could be a murder, death, gangster killer, and you see Michael Jackson, you're gonna be like, yo, you gonna what is like do you like, damn, do this nigga got on like a certain type of cologne, or do you smell his hair gel? Like
All
what?
of it.
Wow,
All
that
of
must
it.
be
But
crazy.
your heart, my heart was beating really fast. What they did do was after we saw him in the audience, when we got backstage, all of us again who were still kids, we're like, oh my God, it's Michael. And they told us, hey, he's coming backstage to
Mm,
say, hello to y'all. So then we were asked to calm down,
okay.
okay, everybody, here goes Mike, so when he came, all you could do, I speaking for myself, he was just beautiful. He was a beautiful man. Like, it wasn't just his features that he worked on, and then the ones that he had before. It was his aura and his
You
spirit.
felt the energy, something about
I
the energy.
felt
Yeah.
his energy. He was a beautiful man. He was beautiful, and I can only imagine um, at being able to work with him, and so I lived through Teddy. We would watch him, and he would come back to the bus sometimes and play the record. Like, what do you think about this? We were like, are you crazy? Like,
Remember the time or different records?
remember the time.
Wow.
What are the other records he did for him? Jeez, he I remember
Was it
specifically.
Blood on the Dance Floor? One of them songs like
No,
that?
not that one.
Okay.
Uh, I should have been more prepared for that, but I wasn't
It
going to talk
happens.
to him. But Michael, Teddy was just as excited internally. He didn't know how great he was while he was working on all of the artists that he was working on. So it was amazing, just to be a part of that.
So you met Michael Jackson. Who else
Yeah.
had you meet through Teddy Riley that you was fanned out?
Mm. Man, out.
Did you meet Patty?
I didn't get a chance to meet Patty until later in life. I actually met her recently again, but um, actually met her and shook her hand and took a picture with her.
You didn't get no
Um,
pictures with Mike though, right? Michael Jackson,
recently.
no
I
pictures.
didn't get a picture with Mike. No. Back
Oh,
then, and you think about it, there was no social media.
yep.
You didn't walk around with a cell phone.
You needed a Polaroid. It wasn't no. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't no. You
Whatever it
probably, it was
was,
beepers back then. It was still two
back
ways.
then was right.
Yeah.
Do we even have the two-way yet? Because when I was touring with Ted, was from '89
Oh, you had the beeper that didn't even have the numbers on it. It was just regular.
to
It was the drug dealer beepers.
94.
Yeah, drug dealer beepers back then.
Crazy.
It was. It was.
That was the block phone that only doctors were supposed to have.
Yes, yes. And
Or
I think the cell
carry-
phones was out, but they used to be like $1 a minute back then if you had a cell phone. So you meet Michael Jackson. Did you meet Prince?
I did, not through Ted though, but I
Okay.
got a chance to meet. Prince was like, I was at Joe's Pub one night.
He used to always be in Joe's Pub. Yep.
He was in Joe's Pub, and
Yep.
I'll never forget. I was with an entourage of musicians. One of my favorite females was performing that night, and when we were leaving, my crew was like, you know how artists, we all say goodbye forever. So they were saying goodbye. I was tired. I think my feet were hurting. I'm leaving the venue by myself, and Prince was walking by himself towards me from outside. He was coming in. I was leaving to go outside, and I never forget. He had on heels. He had on, but he was so fine. Oh, he was fine. He was masculine. Like,
that's
how
on you. I'm a chill. I'm a fall
I'm
back.
sorry. All the women who are watching, oh God, press the like button. I don't know. What do you do? Prince was fine, and he was masculine, and he had a swag, even with the heels on. He walked.
He had his hair fried, dyed, and laid to the side, or
Let me tell you something. His hair was flowing,
okay.
and it was no wind.
Wow.
His hair was so smooth and blown out, doobied.
Wow.
And he had the little swoop going on, and he gets close to me and he goes, well, hello.
Wow.
In that voice. And
Wow.
I was like, fanned out internally. I could have done whatever right there,
So
right?
so Prince said, "You come with me." You would have bounced with Prince?
No.
I don't mean in that way, but if he was like, "Let's go to," yeah, I do mean in that way. Let me stop
Nah,
fronting.
I-
Yeah, like,
you do mean it that
I'm about
way.
to say, let me stop fronting. I'm about to say, yeah,
No.
let me stop fronting.
I'm not that girl, but
Oh, You
He
was
was fine.
taller than him though, right?
I was taller than him. He's
Yeah.
not my type. All of that stuff,
Got you.
But he's Prince.
So hold up. So how was a man fine, but a man could be fine and not your type at the
And they
same
could
time?
be absolutely. You know what I'm talking about.
Now, honestly, I don't, cause I'll be like, when a chick be like, "You fine," I'm like,
And
I can't live. Like, what are you talking about? If I'm fine, what you giving me these compliments for? Like, what is this all about?
just I could look at him. He's just amazingly good to
Got
look.
you. Got
Yeah,
you.
he
Oh,
and I could listen to him sing, but that was about it.
favorite Prince song.
That's it.
Favorite Prince song.
Oh, that's a good question. Time.
Time. So somebody said Prince out on the blouse when you saw him. Damn. He probably
Yeah.
did. Favorite Michael
Probably
Jackson
did.
song.
Yeah. That's a great question. Um, some of his older off the wall album.
Gotta be Rock With You. That's my favorite record. Rock With You is amazing. That's my favorite Michael Jackson record. Rock With You.
That's not my favorite, but that is a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Michael's records as a Jackson 5 were actually
Yes.
most soulful records.
I Want to Be Where You Are is
I
crazy.
Want to Be Where You Are, just oh my God. Yeah, Michael Jackson as a Jackson 5, those records were some of my favorites, and ask me the names of them. I can't do that. I become a mother when it comes to the names of things.
My favorite Prince song is believe it or not, is Do Me Baby, his version of, not the Shaka Khan though. I mean, not the Melissa Morgan, his version. Yeah, his version. Yeah, because he wrote, because even it's a Shaka Khan record that I Feel For You is really Prince.
Yes.
Yeah, Prince wrote a lot of records. So
time was mine.
Yeah. So you work with Guy.
Yes.
You got Jay-Z. You toured with Mary J. Blige too?
I did.
Okay. What does she have out at this time?
The Real Love project. Okay.
Rest in peace to Prince Marky D too, because he actually had something to do with the production of that record. Him and Corey Rooney produced that song.
Rest in peace, my brother Marky D, and condolences to Corey Rooney. I actually reached out to him as well. Corey Rooney was very instrumental in some pieces of my career as well.
Wow.
Yes, shout out to him. We're all the Brooklynites. We're really family. I met Corey Rooney through JP Edmond, and everyone knows him from supporting all of the Salt-N-Pepa regime, the Idol Makers company that was behind Salt-N-Pepa. JP kind of role managed and co-managed all of the groups, and Salt-N-Pepa was one of them. So I met Corey Rooney through him, and Corey Rooney was singing back then, musician. He plays multiple instruments, and where were we? So
who would have thought them simple keys on Real Love would be some of the most monumental keys ever? That and Top Bill.
I think Corey knew. He's one of those. He's one of those. I think he did Reminisce as well. Yeah. So I was a Columbia Music signed artist in '93 so how it worked was I was working with, and they named him in the Salt-N-Pepa movie as well. I was working with Fresh Gordon, who produced Push It.
Wow.
My brother Fresh Gordon, JP Edmond, was working with him, and Fresh Gordon took me in the studio, taught me how to use the studio and lay my own vocal at the time. And we wrote numerous songs to just kind of sharpen my skills, and then eventually led us to publishing deals and that kind of stuff. But it led to me getting signed at Columbia Records. And being in the building of Columbia Records, and I'm remembering like 50 Cent was like chilling and doing his thing.
Because Trackmasters was there.
Right. Well, no, we talking about '93.
Trackmasters was there.
I don't know that they were so present. So if they were
No,
there,
because that's who
at this
50
time.
Cent got signed to, Trackmaster. No, he got signed to I think he was messing with JMJ first, didn't he? But he definitely had his
I think
solo
they came
deal
a little later.
with Trackmasters.
And Mary's first team, Kurt Woodley and his partners were there in the Columbia office.
Got you.
And they found out that I was there. And Kurt called me in the office and he said, hey, you work with Teddy and them, right? And I was like, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, I heard a lot of good things about that band, And I was like, yeah. He said, well, Mary is my artist. And I was like, really, And he said, she's really getting to that point where they don't want to see her with singing to the tracks anymore. And we want to put a band together for her. Do you think you could put a band together for her? And I was like, absolutely. We had just came off tour with Ted. And, those moments when you're not working, who, doesn't want another gig. So I said, all right, let me see what I could do. And I went and I approached all of the guys. The bass player, Kern Bradley from Detroit, his brother Valdez, and Gerald was the drummer. And these are really some hardcore musicians out the church who, when I approached them, they were like, well, hell to the yeah, Dinky Bingham, shout out to him. Yummy Bingham.
I'm about to say the only person I know with that name is Yummy is actually
that's her father.
Yo, Yummy is one of the most unique voices I've ever heard in my life.
She's getting ready to come out.
Shout out. Listen, Yummy, much more with De La Soul. I absolutely love that song, and I love it on the Chappelle Show even more. And she was in a group called Lorraine.
So she's in the family.
Okay. So I need my Yummy interview.
Yummy's about, yes, you do. And Yummy's about to come out as a featured vocalist on the next Salt-N-Pepa single that's going to come out.
Wow. Very
soon. So shout out to Yummy Bingham. Shout out to Rufus Black, her husband, who is amazing and part of the team. So, boom. They asked me to put the band together. We put the band together. And we learned all of her songs. Lorianne, shout out to Lorianne, was one of the dancers.
That's Boom Cat, right?
Lorianne, I don't know that name.
That's the girl that was with Puff. Who
Correct.
Ended up being, and her sister name is Karen. Used to live on my block. That's serious. She got a sister named Karen, right?
I don't know her sister.
Her sister name is Karen. Used to live right on my block, right across the street. Dead serious. But go ahead.
So Lorianne was one of the dancers, and we put together the band. Mary had no idea who I was. That Kurt even approached me, and we learned all of the songs. I remember we put together the intro. I don't even know if she still does it now. That Mary J.
Yeah, Rick James. Yeah.
We put together all of that, and we were like so excited because we were going to work with our sister, and we actually never got a chance to meet her before we had done all the work of learning her stuff. And so she came in, and she listened to us, and quite new, and this is in the beginning, Mary. This is KC Mary.
Wow.
And so she was like all right, and then she left out. So we were like, oh shit, we hope she likes it. And we wound up touring with Mary. And shout out to Mary J. Blige, my sister. I got the opportunity to sing with that amazing talent.
So would that make you not the band leader per se?
No.
So what is the band leader? Explain that to me, because I'm a little dumb.
Music director.
Music director, okay.
Of the band is the person who orchestrates the pieces to the music.
So who would be the band leader in that situation?
That would be the keyboard player, who was Dinky Bingham at the time.
Yummy's father. Wow.
Yummy's father. He actually went on to do a solo project, the Jamaica Boys, if you remember.
Yeah. Tom Watson. No. You said Jamaica Boy. I'm thinking Jamaica Funk. No, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'm thinking Jamaica Funk. I love that song so much. That's what it is. Who sung on Jamaica Funk too? The girl who sung on that.
Rest in peace, Tony. Her name was Tony, and she actually passed away maybe 2 years now. Recently.
She bodied Jamaica Funk.
Rest in peace. Yes,
Tom Brown. Yeah,
she was an amazing vocalist.
See, I love. That's what I
came up singing background for Shaka.
But see, this is what I love about the music industry. It's so many unsung heroes like yourself that's really a part of putting together so much that we don't know. We only
Blue.
see the star, but it's a lot of cogs to that wheel. So how many when you going, could you tell the young artists out there about tour life? See, they think, let me tell you what they think.
Hmm.
They think you go on tour, you're on private jets, you're on a luxury bus, your bus got a studio in the back, you got a deluxe bathroom in there, you eating the finest food. Can you tell them? Because I be trying to tell them. First of all, you cannot use the bathroom on the bus. That's first and foremost. There is no bathroom use on the bus whatsoever. Right? Am I right? Tell them you cannot use the bathroom on the bus.
You can do number one on the bathroom on the bus.
But you can't do number two on the bus
You better.
whatsoever. Or
You
you
better.
go or
Unless
everybody
it's
on the
your
bus.
bus.
Yeah, and
If
it's
it's your bus, then what they're gonna say to you? But no, you cannot do number two when you're sharing a bus.
facts. But also it's like a septic tank and it doesn't leave even if you do number two. And the bus
They
driver
have
has to
to.
come physically take it out and pour out your number two. Yeah,
I
so
think
they probably
there was a
improved it.
gadget or switch that they could release the stuff. But it was awful to defecate on the bus.
I
You
had
know
some
that.
bum ass buses, but I was on a bum bus. So
I was gonna say to you, I had so I might have a terrible answer for you because my experience was good in that I always toured with headline
oh,
acts.
see.
So we had support from the labels and we had buses that had awesome bunks and awesome, I think eventually later Ted made his bus into a studio, like
My tour bus
so
was trash. Couldn't use the bathroom.
I had an
It was
amazing,
cold. The
no,
speakers was blown in the back. But see,
we had movies, we had, and I learned really quickly that if you ride with the road manager on their bus, you had access to all the food, you had access to all the goodies and the candies and the movies,
because
the
he was getting a
music.
per diem. He was getting a per diem. Yep.
He had the budget.
Yeah. So okay. But tour life is rough though. A lot of people think that it's fun. It's very
It's,
rough because it's hustle and bustle,
it's
and
awesome.
you can
A
gain a
different
lot of
city every
yeah. You
day.
could gain a lot of weight because you're eating a lot of fast food. Your face could break out because you're
Mm,
literally eating like McDonald's and
mm.
KFC and all that stuff. So there is no gourmet food. You'd be lucky if you could get some gourmet food. There is no red, like you're so busy. Sometimes you didn't even stay in the town. You did the show. You might have went to the after party and then you was back on the bus going to the next town.
So all of the amazing artists I got a chance to tour with, we were at the beginning stages initially, and so we had to work hard. And there was no, going to the after party. Really, it was they would take pictures at the venue, and then we would go back to the hotel, maybe,
Maybe.
wash our ass, and then we had to get back on that bus and go to the next city.
Yep.
So the rigorous piece of touring is that you need water. You have to keep yourself hydrated. As kids, we weren't thinking about health. The guy we eating Twinkie, we eat whatever your favorite dessert was or whatever. I think Ted will laugh at this story and Aaron will laugh at this story because my favorite thing was Pop Tarts.
Wow.
And as long as they would get off the bus and give me some Pop Tarts, strawberry ones, I was happy.
Yep.
You could do whatever. Y'all could yell, whatever, stink feet or whatever it
You ate
is.
them room temperature?
Yes,
Okay,
right out
yeah.
the box.
Yeah. So yeah, tour life is crazy. So somebody said you better hire a chef. There's no kitchen, bro. There is no kitchen. Like you're literally on this. You spend more time on this bus than anything
You're on
because
the
you got to
bus.
remember, you might do say you doing a South Run. So now you're driving
All
from
of the
North Carolina, the
circuit.
Chitlin Circuit, but you're driving from North Carolina to Tallahassee. And you say, well, that's right there. No, but Tallahassee is at the bottom of Florida. So it still might take you 20 hours on the bus.
Hmm.
Literally.
We
The
did the
bus.
Chitlin Circuit
Yeah, yep.
serious, and we, I mean, because the buses were comfortable, like I said, we
Lucky you.
didn't have a hard, I'm sorry, but we had a good experience as far as the ride. We slept, we got up, we created, we watched movies, whatever we were, and I got a chance to see, the countryside. But that rigorous every day, we actually would do shows 6 days out of the week, and
Wow.
Sunday would be travel day to do it again. And we would do that for weeks, you
Yes.
know, weeks and weeks and weeks.
Was this promo? What's tour life like as a background singer? What is the pay like?
Back then, I would say that you know, you would get per diem, which you very much aware of, and
$35 or 25 if you lucky.
you would get per diem, and you would also get a fee weekly.
Wow.
So now you can arrange different arrangements where you can get paid however often you deem, whether it's depending on how long the tour is, and you can break it up how you want. But back then, you know, you went with the system, and so we would get paid weekly. And I will tell you this: the pay for background singers was a little less than the musicians, but back then it was a livelihood, you know, worth more than it was a middle class salary, you know.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad. So we thought we were balling.
Yeah. So what about the glam squad? Do you have to maintain yourself, or is people there?
We had to maintain, as background singers, we had to maintain ourselves. Even the musicians, there were no budgets to clothe nor hair, makeup, nothing. We had to do it ourselves. And I learned that was my boot camp on how to maintain and sustain, you know, whatever image I was going to portray. I had to learn how to do my own hair.
Somebody said you put it in your rider. Background singers don't get riders. I don't think y'all get it.
Background singers
do not get riders.
They get riders. Let me tell you something, and I will say this, and shout out to my girls who have these gigs, because when I was a child in school, I mirrored myself and I wanted these gigs. I was coming after them. Luther Vandross, he laced his singers. They had gowns made to match his outfits. They had hair and makeup. You know, they had eyelashes back then when it wasn't so popular for the average girl to have them. Shoes, and you couldn't wear them outside of his show. You know, they had people who took them and wardrobed them, cleaned them, and they were made. So Luther Vandross did that for his singers. Madonna did that for her singers. Janet did that for her staff, dancers, singers, musicians. Sting, you know, big artists. They had those budgets and they had retainers. So when they were not on tour, they paid you to not do anything else with anybody else, so that when they were ready and they needed you, you could just go.
Got you.
Whereas,
how do you keep your voice healthy, fresh, and ready to go for this real rigorous tour?
So what's interesting, especially when I look back, you know, most of us, you know, that come from, and I guess no matter what hood you come from, you know, we're jokesters. We like to laugh loud and joke and snap on each other and play joke. You know, as singers, you cannot yell and scream and laugh, you know, so often. You have to be mindful of the use of your voice. As kids, we were not, like, I wasn't boiling ginger and doing honey and that stuff back then, but I was drinking tea, lemon tea, lots of honey, lots and lots of honey. I would just take the honey and the lemon and just warm that up alone. I was privy to, and Aaron could laugh at this, they had access to doctors on the road that were special, you know, doctors that would come out and they would give you like a drop of some type of menthol concoction, and the next thing you know, no mucus, nothing, and you were able to, you know, really sing really well. If one person got a cold, then everyone got a cold. And
wow.
Excuse me, I'm having a technical problem. Hold on one second.
Okay. She's having a technical problem. Hold on one second, y'all. She'll be back. This happens from time to time, you know, while we're live on the scene. So yeah, we're here. We're almost at the. We're like at the. We're
There's
close.
so much to tell.
So you're back.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I hear you. You couldn't see yourself for a minute?
No, I'm having a battery issue.
Oh, battery. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I meant to tell you, charge the battery. Like we go here. We're gonna know your whole life. for this, you know, after
So
this?
being around Ted and the crew, you know, I am a little technical. I love computers.
Oh, no. You can't say that about Ted and them because they verses was trash. The first verses, they didn't know nothing about no computer. So maybe they got it, you know, I know that's the homie, but that first verses,
Oh my God, that was Murphy's Law.
yo,
That's Murphy.
why you
Murphy
say
showed
that?
up because he knows about his computers, and I'm sure he went through all of that.
Yeah, and homeboy in the back that was dancing, yo, the funniest thing I ever seen with that verses. Uh,
Yes.
so you tore you tore. Where does the so when they put you with Mary,
Yes.
was it a point where you have a record deal? Do you have a record deal at this time?
Yes.
So how do you go tour? You do all this. When does Khadejia, the artist, the solo artist, are they saying we want you to be like Mary? We want you to be like this one. What happened with you as the soloist?
And they were saying those things. They said that, I'm sure, to every vocalist that signed in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I want these street records like Mary. I want, you know, the records to sound like this, you know, and so yes, it was a task to find who you were
Mm.
and be able to make the label happy at the same time. Excuse me.
Yep.
This is real.
Yeah, it happens, and it happens,
I'm just making sure that everything is plugged in,
because it just go right in the middle of the interview.
and then the whole interview's done.
Yeah, the end is like, yo, we'll continue. Be like, yeah, we'll continue part 2 of the
Part
interview
2.
once she gets her tech stuff together. But no, we here. We just waiting for her to get it together. I'll be back. Put the camera back on her in 1
Thank
second.
you.
So, yeah. So, yeah. We here live. Make sure you hit them likes, people. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Share this. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and click the bell. Yeah. She's trying to make sure her all her tech stuff is together.
Yes, hold on.
Yeah, this is a live show, so stuff happens live. We don't be doing that pre-recorded stuff. This is live in the flesh. It's actually 10:37 p.m. right now. It's real. So, who are they trying to put you in the studio with as far as production?
Yes, so the first producer, and while I was on the road that I got a chance to work with, was Gerald Levert.
Wow.
God bless.
What is that like? Because damn, you coming and correction, ain't no woman is Four Tops, not the OJs. You said the OJs earlier, so we got we got to fix that. Yeah, so Gerald Levert, how does that work if they're looking for, because now this hip hop R&B or R&B hip hop is the new thing. They're trying to push you with Gerald Levert. Was it a conflict of interest for what the label wanted? Like, what happens?
Honestly, Gerald Levert expressed me singing. I got a chance to sing with him on the road. Okay. And so it was a friendship. And so when I started working on my project, my friends started reaching out to me. And so it was kind of like a beneficial for the label, where they didn't have to work so hard to try to find people, because people were calling like, hey, what is she doing? And so I got a chance to sit in the studio and just try to figure it out, with Gerald Levert. And shout out to his partner, Tony Edwin Nicholas. He was part producer of the project and the songs that we did as well. So I got a chance to produce some songs with Gerald.
So Gerald's on there. Who else is on there?
Dinky.
Okay.
I worked with Dinky, and my original production for that deal was done. My demo stuff was done by Fresh Gordon, which I was telling you I was working with originally. So the music I did with him is what got me the deal.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
So who are they? So are they still trying to push you into this? You got to wear the baseball cap and the baggy pants and all that?
We did not get a chance to get to that mode.
Wow.
In that stage with Columbia Records, because politically, when I was signed, the A&R person, and shout out to Dave Shaw, I have to say his name, he was on his way out the door and we didn't know it. And so he was no longer at Columbia Records in the middle of me recording.
Yeah. So I wanted to give the audience, what happens is when you go to a record label and you sign up, your A&R used to stand, A&R stands for artist and repertoire. So this is the person that's kind of like the overseer of your project. They come to the studio a lot, they give input. So this person is like almost like your album coordinator, you know,
Yes.
right? So what happens is a lot of times they sign a lot of things get signed under them. They take over your project, put your project together. And a lot of times they have tumultuous relationship with the CEOs and the people running the label. When they get fired, so does your project. Because the new
We
A&R
talk,
comes in and say, I didn't sign this. I'm not feeling it. I want to bring in my groups and my acts. Am I right?
we're talking about the time Tommy Mottola days. There were other names that I won't even give them, the light, that were there, A&R wise, who were not into urban music. And so I had a champion that brought me in, but then he was no longer there.
Mm.
And so in the middle of me recording, the newly assigned A&R people were like, oh, okay, well, I guess we got it. Who was this girl?
Mm-hmm.
And they had to justify me being signed. And then my Earth Angel, Corey Rumi,
Mm-hmm.
was very, very present in the Sony building with Tommy Mottola. He found out the issue and the struggle that I was having, that they were having, trying to figure out what to do. I mean, I was assigned to Donnie Einer.
Wow.
And he was a pop house music pop guy, and so he wanted to kind of
Now he's urban though. Now he's urban.
so and at the time, so it was like, oh, he was going to take over the project. Corey heard what was happening, and again, like I said to you, we were family first. And Corey called me, and thank you, Corey Rumi. He called me and he said, hey, I'm gonna help you get out of this. The way you don't have to owe any money, and we're gonna figure this out. And he introduced me to my second lawyer, who was Puffy's in Puffy's camp at some point, Kenny Masellis. So shout out to Kenny Masellis.
So you get a release.
Yes.
And where do you
go back on tour?
So you go back on the road.
I'm on the road because that's what was
paying the bills.
Paying my bills, yes.
So you from these touring, did your lifestyle change? Did you go get a car? Did you go get an apartment? Did you
absolutely.
did you buy dumb stuff?
Year.
Okay.
Yeah. I did really, really, really awful, terrible things. I didn't put down on anything. And so, the BMW, the 17-inch rims, and we do these things.
Yes, and we from Brooklyn, so
Yeah, and so yes, I did those things, and we partied. Yes. So whenever I came home, I had to be with my girls, and we just we were living. I don't even know how we did what we did now when I think about how
young and crazy,
carefree you are when you just and fearless, and we were all creatives, how it was coming up in that time, and then we supported one another, and that was how we got to work. We networked with each other, and so that's what it was. So I went back on the road. I started singing with, I'm trying to remember the time period. So that was Salt-N-Pepa.
So when you go with Salt-N-Pepa, did you ever do studio sessions with them?
Absolutely. I had, and so we're skipping around, but I had been singing with Salt-N-Pepa since when they started merging vocals on records.
So this is What a Man time or before?
Well, before What a Man, it was oh God, what's the record my girl Jackie McGee sang on? And so all of the records, Do You Really Want Me, Let's Talk About Sex.
You on Let's Talk About Sex?
I'm one of the vocalists on Let's Talk About Sex. It's me and a guy. and another young lady named Julia. Shout out
So
to
when
my.
we hear "Let's talk about sex, baby," that's you.
If you look at the credits, it's me. And
Wow.
so yeah, so all the records for Idol Makers artists, Kid and Play, Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody, all those records. It's Khadejia Bass,
Wow.
Julia. Shout out to the whole team that we Herbie Lovebug will call me. I worked with Salt-N-Pepa since I was like about 16 years old. I was still in school, and there's numerous people who were instrumental in just again driving me back and forth to the sessions, making sure that I stayed in school, and Herbie utilized my vocals and made sure that I was on these records. Now, because I was not signed to Idol Makers,
Mm.
because I was not a Herbie Azar artist,
Mm-hmm.
they would pay me as a session singer,
That Jay-Z ain't no nigga shit again.
right? But even worse, the only conversation that I remember having to protect myself for the future, which we weren't thinking of. I don't remember the conversation. What's the proper spelling of your name,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can list you properly in the liner credits,
Mm.
liner notes. Um, you know, do you want to be listed as a vocal arranger because you did the harmonies and you did the, like,
Hold on,
I,
you did the vocal arrangements for these
so,
songs?
maybe I'll fast forward to, What a Man, right?
When in
And
Vogue,
with En Vogue.
you put that together?
So I was on tour with Mary, and we did a show in LA, and I remember Herbie like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm in LA." He's like, "I'm in LA too," and he said, "Come to the studio. Can you come to the studio?" And I came to the studio because that's what we did. Went to the studio, and he was working on What a Man, the idea. He said, "I have this idea for the girls," and he played the original version of that record, which there is a sample
Mm.
that he played. He did not want to. Herbie was not the sample man. He needed to recreate, and so he was like, "What you think?" And I'm like, because I was who I was, and so I laid down the vocal, and I went on tour,
Mm.
right? The record is like what you hear is what the record is. So I don't know what the girls are gonna do. Their vocal wasn't even on it yet. All I knew was that what we did was really hot. Herbie was a master. And yes, so Herbie wasn't a singer. I was the one who did all of the harmony creation. I mimicked the original record, but put my twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on tour. Now, the next call I got was that the label that they signed to at that time, they were newly signed to MCA,
Mm.
and they were like, "Who is this girl?" He said, "It's a young lady that sings on most of our records, and she's on tour with us." And they said, "Was she an artist?" He said, "No." And they said, "Oh, what sense does it make for us to promote this girl?" And so he was like, "Well, what do you suggest?" So they wanted a known artist for the project, and so that they can get the fan base of that group or artist, and along with the girls, and they were trying to make them more
Pop.
yes, at the time, or even R&B accepted, even like that in the mainstream, so to speak, get them on the radio.
Crossover.
And so when Vogue was signed to MCA, I believe at the time, and they got the girls to do it. So when they made the decision, I had an angel who gave me a call and
Mm.
told Khadejia they got in Vogue to sing this record. So I was like, really? Wow, okay. There's nothing I could say. Now I'm on the road, so it didn't really dawn on me what was happening at first, but you get upset and then you just move on, because I thought in my mind this might be my shot,
Got you.
how most vocalists would think. And the when Vogue laid their vocals down, and I believe the label like the original version with this Khadejia girl.
Wow. Do you have it?
That's the version that you hear out in the world right now.
Yeah, so that's not in vogue?
Vogue is in there,
All right,
but
help me
what they
understand. So you're still
what
in
they
there. They tucked you.
so no,
They didn't tuck you.
my voice is a prevalent. It's one of the main sounds that you hear when you hear that chorus. It's Khadejia.
Wow.
So what they did was, um, they tried it again, and the sound wasn't what the original, track that the label heard. They wanted that feel, and so they said, well, you got to fix this. So Herbie and his crew Herbie, he's the man, decided to keep the original version of what he played for them, which was my voice, and another young lady named Kimiko, who no one speaks about.
Wow.
And she's the girl who's doing the ad lib. Yes, he is her ad lib.
Oh, I'm sitting here thinking this is Cindy or one of them women's.
So
Interesting.
they kept they kept our vocals, and they merged in Vogue in the chorus, allegedly. And what they wound up doing is to make it whole, so to speak, is they credited me in the liner notes as a vocalist, backing vocalist, and the background vocal arranger.
All right, that sounds great, but what about that money? Did
All of that?
Okay,
right?
Yeah. So you got pub on this? Did you get pub?
So what happens is, every time you hear the record somewhere, right? Because I am listed correctly, speaking to all of the artists who are working, make sure that you are credited properly in whatever arrangements that you make. If you're a writer, you have to be published. Get your ASCAP, get your BMI, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever company you're using, make sure you are listed correctly.
Got you. So
I was listed correctly on that project. I was also listed correctly on Let's Talk About Sex.
Wow.
And all of the other records that I sing on, including Kid and Play's Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody.
So you didn't do Shoop, right? Shoop, you was going.
I did not sing with Shoop. That Shoop was a little before my time with them.
Got you. Yeah, because the Salt-N-Pepa, the timeline is a little off with me. So what do you think about what's going on with them in Spin? So were you ever in the studio with Salt-N-Pepa and Spin?
So no.
Okay.
I know for a fact that Herbie masterminded their projects first, and then he would present them to Cheryl and Sandy, and then they would come in and do their vocals long after I had laid down my vocal. I wound up touring with Salt-N-Pepa, heavy, hard body, for many years. 5 or 6 years, but all over the world. But I never recorded in the studio with all of them. And Spin, she wound up trying to do a solo project at some point in the 90s. And Freddie Fox was the producer on that. And shout out to Freddie Fox.
Shout out to Bumpy Knuckles.
Bumpy. And he hired me as a vocalist for that project as well.
So is this before her and Kane, All I Love is all? Remember her and Kane did Very Special. She rapped on Very Special.
Timeline, and the timeline. So it had to be like all around the same time because, again, and she could tell the story for her piece better than I can. She was really trying to prove herself as a significant part of the group, and so she had to then start trying to rhyme.
Which makes no sense. If you're the DJ, you're the DJ.
But they were trying to justify how I don't even know their business, honestly.
Okay.
I stayed out of that because I was the background singer, and I had enough troubles trying to justify my vocal stuff. So being an artist, where you have, so we're the support artist of this major group. You don't have a team. We don't have a team championing our arguments and making sure that we're protected. And you know, those unions, AFTRA and CIS, all of the unions that are created to protect actors, and we don't have that on the roll for musicians and singers. So we're out there kind of gunning as kids for ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I was constantly gunning. You know, I had to constantly gun, and I had to you know, keep gunners
Yeah.
around me, you know, just to make sure that the basic things were happening.
And I wanted to tell the world what I know about you. One thing that did it work in your favor or didn't work in your favor, I guess morally it did, but you didn't sleep around. Like no, there is no crew of guys that could say, "Yo, Khadejia, we did her dirty." So did that harm you that you wasn't a smut? Basically, let's just keep it real.
I always hear so. You know, I was one of those delusional people who used to think, you know, oh, it's all about the talent, you know, and I always hear, if you would have been sleeping with everybody, then you would have been on, and so I can't imagine that because when I think about the players, I'm like, who do you have to sleep with, Donnie Iver?
Yeah, yeah,
Who,
yeah.
who do you sleep with? And so, um, but I don't think that that's the reason why things didn't play in my favor. And I will say this again to the up and coming young artists who are watching this or who will watch this. I did not have a solid team, and I did not know the business,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not, um, and I did not have plan A, B, or C.
Yeah, so you was just coming in like, yo, I'ma sing, I'ma get a record deal, and that's it. But when you now
As things were unfolding,
you
I
was
was
learning on
really,
the job.
really learning on the job, and I would ask questions. I thought I would arm myself with a lawyer, and most of my introductions and the people who I had around me were people who I knew. So I thought I was
Protected.
protected, and so things happen. People have other missions they might be working on, and when I think about it now, I did not have my own plan A, plan B, plan C, and I really winged it. I really did not do my homework
But how
about.
could you though if you was we like myself, we came in the game as kids. Like you
Yes,
all you know is that yo, I got this talent and this
yes,
talent, I'm gonna be number one off this talent. But then you realize the talent is maybe about 10%. Now you have to, go through this game and
it was a game.
you also have a childlike mind. So
Mm,
you're dealing with adults that know about the money, they know about the publishing, they know about the points, they know about everything, but you're just like, yo, I'm on the road, I'm not home. I made $6,000. That's the more, but somebody else made 600,000. But you're so
mm,
proud. So they was able to give us pennies, and it was
pennies.
something over nothing, and we was happy because
And think about, and I mean, I know the stories are going to come out later. Think about even an artist like Salt-N-Pepa who they probably didn't do as much writing uh, as they maybe might do now,
uh-huh.
on their projects, and they didn't understand the publishing base, even Guy, whatever artist that's out there, Bobby Brown, all these people who were handed songs or whatever, however they got their songs. I'm sure that they weren't thinking, let me make sure my publishing is right. Let me make sure, you know what I mean? And so we were really doing, and I'm sure that because now that I think about it, I always remember older artists getting in trouble with the IRS and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It's because they didn't know the business. You
Yep.
come to this and you just want to do it because of the love, and you think your homie that you grew up with, they're gonna look out for
But
you.
let's
And
keep it real. Let's keep it
mhm,
real. Khadijah, I don't know if the audience noticed, but she's
mhm,
always been not fat at all, but she's always been
mhm.
very thick, what would be
Yes,
considered voluptuous. Like you have
absolutely.
always been what everybody's paying
Always
for. Yeah, everything that the thing that people are paying for, she's always
now.
had it from the first time I saw her. She always was like, "Oh shit." You know what I'm saying? So you mean to tell me that it wasn't a point where it's like, yo, no, everybody wasn't trying to holler at one point to where if
Let
you
me tell
might
you.
have, go ahead.
So, as a female vocalist in that time coming up, And what's the young lady's name? The artist now, that's singing for the full women, who has the big
Lizzo.
record. Her,
Lizzo.
Lizzo. When I saw her come out, I almost cried because I was like, God bless
She
her.
wouldn't have made it in the 90s.
You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm bringing
Martha
her up.
Wash didn't even make it. Martha Wash is one of the
All
greatest
anyone,
singers ever. Yeah.
Angie Stone, Faith Evans, anyone who had any type of any size. When and I'm gonna well, we're skipping around, but so 98 I signed to Wyclef, so
Got you.
we'll get there, right?
Uh-huh.
Even Wyclef, everybody, the first thing they would say is, you know, we gotta lose some weight,
But why
right?
though? You never had to.
I wasn't fat, but I was always thick,
But where
and
was
that
it
was
going though? But where was it gonna go though? That's what I'm saying. Like,
too much for the camera. That was too much. And I will, some really prominent people, without naming names, I remember them because I actually asked them to work with me in those days, and they literally said to me like, well, you know, and you see people like Foxy Brown, and so you see what they're wearing, you know, we would want you to wear those things, you know,
you would have had too
and,
much going on.
and we want you to be, you know, you got to sell sex in order to make it, and so you got to lose some weight. I'm not going to work with artists that of your size.
Wow.
And it having nothing to do with my music, having nothing to do with my track record, which at that point I had been singing with some of the most prominent people, you know, in the industry. So size was always a factor.
But
I
but I'm bugging, not to cut you off, but I'm bugging because I'm not singling her out, but what Cardi
yes,
B paid
yes,
for, what some of these women pay for, you naturally already had. And you didn't have a gut. You didn't have cellulite
right,
legs and all them stuff. Like you was
right,
like you
right,
with all due respect, you almost looked like a damn porn star. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Like you
right,
was, yeah, you was that.
desirable,
Yeah, exactly.
and
So it was like I
so
didn't understand.
it those things it so there were two things happening. As an artist, I was like, you got to be kidding me, you know, because what does that have to do with just being hot and being able, like every record I sing on is gets these platinum statuses and stuff. So I've got to be, why aren't they recognizing me as a person who can make an impact also, you know, to the culture? And so it can give you a complex. I never had a complex, I will say that,
Mm,
because in my personal world, my size was what it was.
yeah.
Everyone, my family has big bones. You know, my mother, my aunts, my cousins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What am I gonna do? And I didn't want. I was scared to get a regular needle. I don't flu shots, all that stuff. Like I. So how am I gonna go and now cut my body to make it into what these people, you know, want me to be? And so that part of the game, you know, just wasn't me, you know. And so I did when I signed with Wyclef, which
Mm-hmm.
was in '98, and this is after Ain't No Nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Suzanne Mates. I'm shouting out these people because people never shout out the people who helped them.
Behind the scenes, yep.
Suzanne Mates was the manager of most of the prominent studios in New York. She would make sure that all artists got really good studios or whatever it is that they wanted. You know, long story short, she introduced me to Wyclef. Can you do that rap singing chorus stuff, right? Susan said, yeah. She said, Wyclef needs a singer, you know. So I went down and I sang on the Gone to November project with him. And he was like, hey, you know, so I worked with him for a couple of weeks after that. Tevin Campbell, R. Kelly. I did a record with R. Kelly and Jay-Z that was off the chain.
Which one? Which one?
It was called VIP. It never was released.
Oh.
They could not clear a baseline, a sample.
So was that the best of both worlds, 1 or 2?
Right before.
Oh,
So
wow.
what?
So Fiesta.
The record that we did was before Fiesta, and it's what spearheaded them to say we want to do this project.
Who produced
together.
it? Tone? Did Tone produce it?
R. Kelly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And who, in spite of all that's happening to him right now, is a master at what he does.
He's a sick genius.
He's a master.
What is R. Kelly like in the studio?
Like we there were 2 rooms that he had going, 2 live rooms going, in the studio Hit Factory.
Mm.
And the one room that I went into, he had one of the best engineers in the business at the time. And he played the record, and he was like, I want you to write it. I want you to write your part.
Wow.
And I was like, so, you know, my heart is pounding because although I had known Robert for some time, he used to, when he was a part of Public Announcement,
Wow.
he used to follow Guy shows like around that we all used to always see him peeking on the side.
Now you know you're confirming what everybody think.
Sorry, Robert, but
so he really did swagger Jack Aaron Hall. I knew it. Brooklyn, we in the building.
Aaron was a great influence
because Public Announcement was
the opening act.
Yeah, but hold up, Public Announcement was the opening act for
many of Guy's shows.
For Guy.
Mm-hmm. Many people, Mint Condition, Tony, Troop. Don't get me started with that. We can be on this live forever.
No, we're gonna do a part 2. So all right, this guy watched Aaron Hall.
Yeah.
And then was like,
but we
go ahead.
He, you know, told me he told me what the vibe was that he wanted. I was like, okay, scared to death. But then I had to go into Khadejia mode. Like, this is what you do, girl.
Yeah.
You know,
put on your big boy pants.
Did I put on my big drawers? Like for real.
No, your big boy pants. Don't say big drawers. Big drawers is like.
It's not sexy.
Yeah, nah. Don't do no big drawers. We don't do big drawers.
So,
go ahead.
Created the chorus, and he came in, listened to it, and he was scoring a movie at the time, and that's why he had the 2 rooms. So he went into the other room, and you hear, and he's doing that, and then he comes in this hip hop track that is going to have Jay-Z on it, and Wyclef brought me to that session, and he put his vocal on the record, and when it was finished, Jay-Z had his vocal on the record, and it was like, wow. Again, in my mind, I was like, perfect timing, because this is after Ain't No Nigga. I'm just getting ready to sign to Wyclef. This is gonna
Why
happen.
You ain't look at Jay-Z and say, yo, nigga, you owe me? Nah, why you ain't do that?
You know what? You know, no one owes you a goddamn thing.
I say that all the time. Nobody owes me.
Owes you nothing.
Facts.
You know, you are to do the work. You are to do your own work and pave the way. You cannot expect anybody to do anything for you.
Facts.
If you have those expectations, you will always be disappointed.
No, I have t-shirts that say no expectations equal no disappointments. Facts.
I will open the door and help you walk through the door.
Yep.
And lead that. And feel good because I know that nobody opened no damn door for me. Or the ones that did, you know, I'm shouting them out.
Yeah. I just naturally have. I believe in reciprocity.
You know what I'm saying? But
I'm a reciprocity dude.
I don't walk around thinking, oh, you know, well, Jay's supposed to. He's supposed to. No, I got that opportunity through Jazzo, and I am thankful to be a part of that process, and it's following me to this day.
Yeah. So you do the R. Kelly songs.
They couldn't clear the sample.
Where's the record at? Is this floating around somewhere?
It's online.
What's the name of it?
VIP. And it wound up being on a DJ Clue mixtape.
So what we doing now, y'all already know. We go and we look up Jay-Z or R. Kelly VIP, and she's on it. And when you look it up, say, Doggie Diamonds brought me here. Doggie Diamonds, no filter brought me here. That's what we do. That's our thing. When we find
Doggie Diamonds and Khadejia.
Doggie Diamonds and Khadejia. So, all right, you are Kelly sessions. You Salt-N-Pepa session.
Yes. Wyclef is in the mix now.
So how you get with so what label is this? This is Wyclef and Jerry Wonder, or this is just Wyclef?
So I'm back. Look at how the universe works.
You back on Columbia.
I'm back on Columbia Records through the Refugee All-Star Camp.
Okay.
At the time, he had City High, Free from 106 in Park, The Product G&B. Mary Brown was signed as an artist with the group.
Who the hell is Mary Brown?
She's a songwriter.
Okay.
And there was John Forte.
Yes.
who was supposed to come out, and then he got arrested.
Okay.
So we're all getting these deals,
Mm.
and Columbia Records, Tommy Mottola, Track
Again.
Masters was prevalent. They were real present. Uh, Beyonce's group was about to start. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, knowing
Destiny's Child. Wow. Okay.
Destiny Child, and so then Tommy Mottola does an audit, you know, and says, "Where's all this money going?
Mm.
All these artists, Refugee All Star. Where's the records? Nobody was coming out with records. We were all recording at the same time,
Mm.
and Refugee All Star was dropped. They kept Track Masters, so everybody that was recording their albums were not able to put out albums. I wound up putting out that one single with Funkmaster Flex
Yes.
on his Volume 3 mixtape because he needed a new artist, he expressed, to put out, and he wanted to break. And I happened to be recording. I had just started signing with Wyclef.
Mm.
So I was like, Wyclef, like, Flex needs a record. He was like, what? For what? Why don't he put out, what was that girl's name that Flex had? My girl.
Yvette Michelle.
Yes, her. My girl Yvette Michelle.
I know
He's
my
like,
music. I know.
see?
Music. Yeah.
Why don't he put her out? Like, why he want you? I'm like, dude, why are you even worried about all of that? Like, we could use this as a platform. Like, none of your artists is getting this opportunity. Flex wants to play this record. So the story is that we go into the studio, Wyclef, Flex brings the breakbeat, Wyclef plays on the record, he goes to the store, it's very cold outside, he's getting ready to come back into the Sony studios, and he bumps into the Product G&B outside with hoods on. They was just walking down the street.
Mm.
And they were like, yo, he was like, don't rob me, joking. Everybody knows Wyclef's a jokester. And they was like, nah, rob you what? We singers.
Wow. I got an interview with them on this channel too.
This is the story.
Mm.
And the young Product G&B was like, he was like, singers? Y'all look like rappers. They was like, no, we sing. He was like, my artist is downstairs in the studio right now. He said, I'm going to bring you downstairs to her. And if she say y'all could sing, then we see what's up.
Mm.
And he brought the Product G&B downstairs. And
Money Home is nice. Yeah, he sound banging.
That's my brother, man.
He sound incredible.
His pain that he sings with reminds me of young Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
He reminds me of young Bobby Brown. He actually released a single recently. Shout out to Money Home.
Yeah, shout out to Money Home. Yep. And Sincere. Yep.
And Sincere.
Yep.
Right. My brothers. They came downstairs and they were like, they did whatever routine they did, and I was like, and I said to myself internally, like, whoa, like, he put this burden on me. This is my session, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but they were really good. And so I was like, yo, y'all are dope. I was like, the passion in your delivery is there. And I pointed to Money Home, and both of them, just the balance in the two of their voices.
Yeah, Money Home, damn, like that Maria is just crazy.
So, boom, they wound up getting on the record.
Wow. Well, from Johnny on the Spot?
So the next day.
Oh, okay.
It was like, we're going to write this right on the spot, and these guys are going to be on the record. So I was like, you talk about winging it. It went from my moment to our moment, and then it came out. So the record came out, and the next thing you know, the DJs nationwide were playing it. Khadejia had no album.
Wow.
The Product G&B is newly signed. They don't have an album, but this record, no follow-up, and this record is taking off. And no plan A. No plan B.
No plan C.
So we really performed the record. We had to go in the studio, record other singles just to perform on stage because the audiences were loving the presentation of us, the idea of us. Khadejia was like, I was one of, I'm one of those singers that, to any music track, hip hop, whatever it is, I could just sing like a freestyle rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody, we all just kind of in our moment, trying to be the artist that we wanted to aspire to be, and then the deal was lost.
So at this particular time, the Columbia thing is gone. So what
Yes.
about the records? Did y'all record anything? You didn't have anything besides that one particular record to go out there with again?
The records we had were not. Um,
Y'all were working,
we were working, and so we hadn't like formulated album
trying to
worth
find
of
the
stuff.
one. Yeah,
We were
exactly. You were
finding a bunch of records. We were all
just
recording.
doing sessions. Yeah, just doing sessions. Yeah.
Luckily, City High had Bob Celestin as their manager slash lawyer and his partner, and he fought for them and said, "Look, if y'all not going to support them before you lose this label thing, let us work this record that they had." And I think that they had the what would you do if the sun is not?
Wow.
They had that out at the time, so they worked that. And luckily, I think the soundtrack and everything, so that happened for them. And then City High co-produced and remixed the No 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 Yes 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 record with Destiny Child, vocal arranged that.
City High did that?
City High was behind the organ the arrangements
Yeah,
of
because the first No 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 is actually
slower, I think.
Tony what's the dude from Tony
Raphael Sadiq.
no, the brother with the other brother.
Oh,
Dwayne Wiggett.
yes. How
Dwayne.
could we do Dwayne?
Yeah, Dwayne did No No No, I think the original.
Mm,
And then the one is
you're right.
No 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 is is
You're
Wyclef.
right.
Wow,
And so
yeah.
they remixed that. And so that let them live. We all lost our deals. And Wyclef tried to bring us to Jive Records with I'm sorry, J Records with Clive Davis.
And he
And
said he didn't want it.
actually Clive is Wyclef's homie. They were like, okay, like we know you work, we know you got the stuff. He reviewed all of us, and at the time, J Records had
Alicia
Alicia
Keys.
Keys about to drop that first album. Deborah Cox, Angie Stone, Whitney Houston. Did I say Olivia?
Nope.
Like Olivia.
Olivia and Alicia Keys was
She
like
was
she had the biz ounce. I think Olivia, they was kind of like really banking on her.
They was at first,
Yeah, they was banking on her.
and but
She was first before Alicia Keys, if I'm not mistaken.
she had a record.
Biz
But
ounce. It was cool.
Alicia, because of the type of artist she was and the musician, and she was backed differently,
Mm-hmm.
and so Clive was like, from what I hear,
Biz ounce. You could biz
he's
ounce.
like, yo, I can't sign another female,
Wow.
And Free from 106 in Park, my sister Marie Antoinette, she wanted to sing and rap.
Mm.
She can sing really well and rap, and so at the time, Lauren was the girl, and everybody was like female rappers weren't really accepted.
Well, dual singers and
Dual singer,
yeah, like if
Missy
you wasn't Latifah, you know.
Missy had a hard time,
Yeah.
So they were like,
And I actually like Missy the singer more than I do the rapper. Believe it or not, I love Missy the singer. The rapper is. But
can you imagine a singing project with just Missy?
Yeah, all in my grill, incredible.
She's probably gonna do it, like
Yeah.
Especially now. She's amazing. I love her.
Yeah.
So yes, so I
So
could
now
not
you're.
I'm labelless again.
Wow.
In that goddamn Columbia record. And so I remember they signed the Product GMV because they were, the guys, they had their unique sign. Maria was out. Don't get me started
Santana.
about how that record came about. It was actually my record that was my session, our session. And
Santana?
Yes. And something really horrible happened, and I wasn't able to go.
Wow.
And so the next call I got was the finished version of the record. I was like, you know,
What Wyclef told Dial if you don't do the record, you won't do the record.
you won't do the record, you know. So, but that was God, you know,
Yeah.
everything that was supposed to happen happened. And so, boom, I go back on tour with Maxi Priest and Shaggy.
Wow.
Because, oh God, who got me the gig? It was a session that Maxi Priest and Shaggy was in the studio, and they just needed voice. They're very, they love music, and they love merging nationalities. You know, they love hip hop, they love R&B, they love pop, they love all types of music, and so they wanted the New York sound on their record. Shout out to Sting International.
Wow.
Was the producer on this record, and I went to the studio and I met Shaggy and I met Maxi Priest. Shout out to them. My family now. They welcomed me in like I was from Kingston and Portmore, and we did That Girl was the name of the record. What was that? Doom doom doom. That girl. Ooh. And it was the biggest record for them. Very successful. We toured in places that I didn't even know listened to Caribbean music. The jungles of Hawaii and Africa I got a chance to go to, and oh my God, like touring with them was amazing. Third World, we did shows in Africa. The attendees were 65,000 people.
Wow.
You know, tickets were hundreds of dollars. I didn't understand the dynamics in those days. You know, in Africa, those concerts were filled with Caucasian people that would come see our concerts. So they were the only ones that could afford, you know, the concert tickets. The headline and the lineup would be Third World, Paul Simon, Randy Crawford, Kool and the Gang.
So this was like festivals.
Yeah, concerts.
But like festivals is more like
festival.
Eclectic,
when I think of a smaller.
No, because I'm starting thinking about groups that don't go together. Like you have Paul Simon, and then you'll have
they called it World Stage.
Got you. Okay.
And there would be 3 stages, domes, and then people and artists, and they would be performing all day and all night.
Got you.
And so I got a chance to do that. So you can imagine, even though my solo attempts had not worked, because of the level of artists that I was able to keep working for, I wasn't thinking about it to the degree that, you know, maybe I would have if I would have come in to really be that solo artist.
How does all of this stuff affect your personal life? Do you have a personal life?
I did not. You know, I tried to have versions of what you know, because I was human, you know, so I would try to have this like real normal human life when I would come home for 2 seconds. And I found that it was very difficult for a young man to think that, you know, his woman who had all this access to all of these people and all these things had interest in them.
Yeah, okay.
And really wanted to be with them. And honestly, you know, it was not my goal to be a mother and a housewife initially. I really wanted to sing, and I was probably one of the top 5 vocalists that you will call to do a project if you were in the East Coast. And so why would I stop that process and stop the money and the access, and stop my dream to bring a child in the world to drop off at my mom's?
Yeah. Any regrets right now, career? Any regrets? Like, I'm not talking about relationships, but if you had to do it all over, besides knowing the business, what would you have done different?
Um, I would have studied what I was doing more. Um, like one of the things that remember Teddy doing, what his team allowed him to do when he first started, was they put him in school to study mixing.
Mm.
He went to school to learn how to mix, and so he learned sounds. He learned what he was doing, and maybe he didn't learn other things about the business at that time, but he studied that.
Yeah.
I thought I was studying what I was doing. I thought I was studying voice. I was studying, you could put me in the room with anybody, any level of artist, any type of artist, and I knew that I could deliver what they was asking of me, but I didn't know the business. And so what I would do over was to study
The business.
the business that I was participating in, so that I could really participate in it.
Favorite country?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Because of the weed? Nah.
No, it's a beautiful country.
Worst tour experience?
Funny story.
Funny story. Let's go.
I was on stage with Jay-Z. And the worst, I guess that could happen to a vocalist. The worst thing that could happen, I was hype, nervous. We were on stage. Everything was happening fast. And I had lost my place. And Jay will laugh at seeing this. I was about to start singing the chorus when he had a whole nother, when Inga had a whole nother verse.
Wow.
And they all turned around and looked at me.
Like, what are you doing?
And I was like,
got you.
That was for me, the worst moment, because I know my shit,
Yeah.
And so, that was the worst moment.
We hear a lot of stories from various artists about the music industry being evil, demonic. You got to sell your soul to make it. It will swallow you whole. How much of that is correct?
A lot of it is, all of that is correct. Because, for example, you think about the drugs, which are out there, right? You think about the sex, the drugs, the things that you can get caught up in as a new young artist, because they, meaning the fans, think you have money, and so all of these things come to you in abundance, because people are predators, and people, you speak about demonic, and you speak about control. How do you control these people, these artists who don't know anything, who are young? How do you control them, even business-wise? Maybe you keep them high, or you keep them whatever it is that their pleasure is, or that you can find out if they have one. So if you're not grounded, if you don't have family, or even your own spiritual perspective and whatever you believe in, you can be sucked into. And I don't know, when you watched the Salt-N-Pepa biopic.
I didn't watch it.
So
I really didn't
they
care.
showed this dual. They showed Cheryl being this girl who was saved, and she actually went through a struggle with doing what she was doing, and then they had Sandy, liking to party, and she liked everybody around her, and so if nobody's looking out for Sandy, she could have been really, really damaged. Luckily, I saw her fight.
Oh, okay.
So, that girl, she will fight you, a guy,
Does she have a child with Prince Marky D?
I don't know that.
I could have sworn Peppa had a child with Prince Marky D. I always thought that.
I don't know that. It could be true.
Yeah.
But again, I mind my business,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I did what I did, you know, and that was really, and so I was able to survive until today, because when you call Khadejia to come and sing, I come into the session and I do my vocals, and you know, I'm personable, but I
Mm-hmm.
come to do my vocals, and I come to do them seriously so that we could, you know, really do well with whatever this project is, and then I'm out. Like, I don't want
Yeah,
to know if your baby is by Prince Monkey D.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want
yeah,
all of that stuff. Like, and Sandy's my girl.
yeah. In this game right now, when you look and you see what's going on, do you say, "Wow, things have really, really changed"? Because I think everything is like crazy sexualized, from the men, the women. It, I don't even know. I'm not really big on censorship, so don't get me wrong. But it's like, damn, do we? Is there anything we not gonna see? Like, what do you say now when you see what's going on?
I there's two parts to my answer. The first part is creatively, I am for expressing yourself.
Okay.
I'm not for anybody telling you how you should be. If this how you want to be, if you want to show whatever you want to show, like if that's you, then by all means. However, do I think that as artists we are responsible for the culture,
Mm-hmm.
for the direction that the culture moves and goes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think we have like I think are we responsible for the behavior of our young male and female um, African American children who are listening to our music and other cultures? Yes.
But you don't think that everything became that chasing that bag talk? So when it comes to that
No,
bag
that's
talk,
what it's all about, period.
got you, got you. So
Now,
so how could we
my
how
artists,
could we be responsible if you have this artist who's 18? They're gonna accept the drugs, they're gonna accept the women, they're gonna accept everything, but they're also going to get the shiny shit and they're gonna die. So what responsibility do these companies have?
there are several things. I mean, we could speak about this all day. Um, the generation that we're in, and the lifestyle, the guidance that they may have or may not have. The language is different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and so ultimately the companies want to sell product, and so they want to speak to what they know. They want to target exactly what it is that what are these kids into. So we need to find out. Oh, so we need to sign the people who know how to get to these people and speak their language. You know, I feel that it is all about business, period. You know, and
Do you think it's an agenda that's being pushed also?
you know, I consider myself a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to
Right.
go there with you. Like, what's this agenda? This is what my audience love.
I
You
would
being on the
say
first hand, being in the industry. What is this agenda that's being pushed?
I can imagine that if there was an agenda, right? If there was a group of individuals who said, we don't want this group of people to be involved in anything having
Mm,
to do with positivity, growth, togetherness, family, um, you know, economics, politics, that we don't want them to be involved. How do we keep these people in the trance?
mm,
How do we keep these people um, ignorant?
mm,
How do we how do we keep these people killing one another? How do we keep these people in this space? And so we allow, this is what they're talking, they're killing. Okay, so this is the language. Let's give them that, and let's give them an abundance of that, and let's glorify it. You know, if that is an agenda, then of course that's what it would be.
mm.
Why wouldn't they allow this stuff to exist? The good thing about now, I think, and how the business has shifted because of the internet, you are no longer you no longer have to go through this giant that has control over what you're putting out anymore.
I want to correct that though. This is what they're doing though. This is what they are doing, because you are right. You can
If
put
I
out
wanted
what
to
you.
hear someone sing about marching, us being together, right? I can type up whatever that would be, and I can find that
But
artist.
this is what they're doing right now. What they're doing is that they're controlling what reaches you now. So what they're doing. So yes, music is a pull thing. You can pull what you want,
Hmm.
but they also push more than you can pull. So you get a little, it gets a little off kilter. You know what I'm saying? So yes,
Correct.
if you want this, you got to find it. But how do you know what you're looking for if this is all you see? And what they're doing is, the people who are creating some of these things that you might even want, but you don't know, they're burying it and they're hiding it. So when you go to iTunes, it's not on the front page. When you go on YouTube, it's not on the front page. It's not on the front page of Spotify. So that's what they're doing. So what they did was they found, okay, y'all can make this stuff. Y'all can make these great records, but we're going to bury it. And now you're going to have to go dig for it. So that's what they did to it. Just like how the algorithm on social media,
Correct.
on Instagram,
Yes.
on Twitter, on
Yes.
Facebook, they
Yes.
limit the visibility of certain things. So
Yes.
yes, we can be independent. Doggy Diamonds TV is independent, but I get buried a lot because we're here
Mm.
talking about this. We're here talking about these subjects that other sensationalize. They're going to promote that because it helps with the agenda. So I do want people to know that yes, we can be creative, but
Yes.
we're fighting against a very big system because they bury us, or they
But
try to. Go ahead.
I will say that historically, there's always been a balance.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been don't stop, get it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
always been, common sense, and there's always been a balance. Tyler Quali, there's always been, if you who you it's Stevie Wonder in his world was always speaking about us standing together, was always thinking about love. He always was there doing that. And then they had artists who was talking about slow dancing and slow grind. So it's what I'm saying is that and oh, so Stevie Wonder stuck to his who he was at the
Yes.
core. He did not conform. So if you are an artist and you want to sing about love, sing about love. Music Soul Child is not conforming.
Yeah.
And they might not play him on the radio stations that you may listen to off the internet, not the internet, but on regular radio. They may not play Music Soul Child, but he's there, and you can find him. You have to support those artists.
Without them, but what happens?
Legacy
But
and
this is what I
whoever it
want.
is that you listen to.
But I want to ask you a few more questions before we go.
Yes.
What happened to the vocalists?
So,
Short answer, if you could, because I
short
know.
answer,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, because I
yes,
know.
no.
Yeah.
So things shifted. Um, I would say that sort of like Southern rap versus New York rap or East Coast rap, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When something is really popular somewhere and the response is really huge and the shifts where that's all they're promoting and that's all they're saying is making money, right? Everybody seems to follow, so now we got all these wonderful, great artists with all this talent in the studio, banging their head trying to do what is being played. And that's a mistake. I feel that whoever you are as an artist, you stay true to that, and you will persevere. There will be a lane for you. You have to blaze it though.
What happened
Um,
to the group?
the vocalists, I
Uh huh.
feel, were following what was happening. So if all that's being played is they don't want to hear the girl that's going
Yeah,
they don't
yeah,
want
yeah. They don't want to
to
hear them loud patty vocals.
but there are people who want to hear that.
Yes.
How is gospel right now a mainstream genre of music? didn't just happen. Gospel didn't just appear now.
Yeah.
Did some of the artists have to be creative and do some things to um, make it a little bit more pleasing to the radio ear? They did. Some of the youthful gospel artists. But they're not doing anything. They are doing what they've always done, and that's sing to the Lord, period.
So what happened to the group? Where's the
Um,
R&B groups? There is none. Not give me one R&B group. I don't know none.
that's in existence today. I do not. I do not know of any. But I bet you they're out there.
This is what I'm saying. And again, like, you know what
So generationally,
yeah.
I know it might be a generational thing, right? So generationally, I mean, I saw these the Asian group. They're not R&B, but they're considered urban.
The
What is
Asian.
that big Asian group? I'm saying Asian because I don't know if they're Chinese or Japanese.
Okay, yeah. So you don't want to
But
be.
they're like dancers. They're like real, and they're like the new sensation.
Well, they got 1 billion people over there. They don't need us. They don't even need
they're
to.
here. They are here on our soil.
But what I'm saying is that they're them, so they're definitely going to get supported by them. What it is, and that goes into the next question that I wanted to ask you, and I wanted to close out on this.
Yes.
Why do us, as Black people, African American, whatever you want to call yourself,
yes,
why do we get aged out?
That's behavior that's passed down. That's behavior. I believe that that's taught because if you have good music, if you are creative at what you do, and you have a following, and they're buying your music, why should you stop?
Yeah, because
there's a lane for every single type of artist, in my opinion. I think that you just got to stick to if it's what you desire to do, you just got to stick to what you're doing. And should you grow and elevate? Absolutely. And do other things? Absolutely. But if this is what you love and this is what you want to do, I don't feel like you should let anyone dictate to you your limitation, because there should be none.
Yes. And my favorite genre of music.
Have you watched Patti LaBelle recently?
No, Patti LaBelle is well, damn, is she my favorite singer?
How old is Patti LaBelle? She might be in her 70s.
She might. I think she grew up with Jesus. But my favorite genre of music, honestly, is neo soul. I was so mad that they like try to bury it, and even in my gym playlist is neo soul. Like I listen.
Show you that there is a market, and they do. So if they don't sell 1 million records a piece per artist, right? They have a 300,000 following that is consistent, and no matter where they go, those people follow and they show up.
Yes. No, they have a loyal following, opposed to a new following. Like one of my favorite songs is one of my favorite groups is Kindred, the Family Soul. You know what I'm saying? Like I like, this is what I'm saying. Like that's what I listen to. And when I try to listen to some of the stuff now, I'm like, I don't, it's not because of my age. It's just that, what are they singing about? Like, because it used to be singing about, yo, I'm trying to get with her. Now it's like, yo, I want to take her, you know, dip my balls on her eyes. And it's like, yo, hold up. What are we doing? Like, what happened? Like, what happened to love?
There is an emerging group of artists
coming
that are being allowed to make music now. And if you dig a little bit, they are vocalists, they are singing, they are writing music again. It's a little slow and a little sad, but I hear a development when you listen to her. I mean, the pain and the soul in her delivery is just amazing. I think that as an artist, she's an amazing artist. She plays, I think, 6 or 7 instruments. I mean, the list goes on. There are many up and coming artists that are being allowed to write music again.
No, I find them because I actually liked Daniel Caesar's music till he said something really stupid. So I had to separate the artist
Yes.
from the idiot. You know what I'm saying? And just say, all right, you said something dumb, but I still like the song. You know what I'm
You
saying?
got it. You have to give, and you should know that.
Yeah, yeah,
Even a
exactly, exactly.
journalist, you have to give people room to create and be all that they can be. And if you're true to the music, follow the music.
Yeah,
You know,
that
stick with your
exactly.
natural.
That's what I'm saying. I don't follow you on social media, but what I am gonna do is still have your music in my playlist. But you know, I'd rather you sing than to say anything. So I could talk to you probably till tomorrow sometimes, but I
I think
gotta
a little longer than
yeah,
that.
I'm gonna let you go. You know, it was my one of my favorite groups too. That Missy was in that group, Sister. I used to like that group, Sister. Man, they made the song Brand New. That was her first group. She was. I could go on and on with the R&B groups that I really really like. I used to
Hmm.
like the group that made the song This Is How It's Supposed to Be. What was their name? Damn. Well, I ain't gonna get into all that.
You have to be more prepared with
Yeah,
the songs
I be
next
having
time.
stuff on cap, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not I think they call Love Her. Yeah, Lovatr. L O
Wow.
L L L O Yeah, Love Her, that was the name of the group. They had a
Hmm.
song called Soldier. But anyway, how could the people stay in contact with you and
Yes.
follow you and listen to you and build with you?
My all my social media outlets are my name Khadijah, spelled Khadedia, like in the caption below, at Khadijah1 at Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, TikTok. I'm all over the place, and you can find me.
Did you have to do one cuz it was somebody that bit your name or something like that like
For Instagram, I'm not. There are many Khadijas, and I
wow.
found that out when I signed up with Instagram. And I love technology, so I was early in signing up for most of the social media. Do you remember MySpace?
Yes.
Were we? I think we were MySpace friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it. I just remember as soon as the outlets come up, I'm on it. I'm looking to see. Um, so I got my Gmail. You can email me if you have music. We are
You
writing.
sure? I don't think you want to do that,
Look,
Khadija. Just
we
stick to
open
the
it up.
Instagram, please. Just stick to the Instagram. I'm
See,
warning
it's
you.
all there. It's public.
Stick to the Instagram. I'm trying to
It's
warn
public.
you. Do
But
not.
anyway, so yes, my social media and Twitter and Facebook, TikTok. I'm Khadijah. I'm
You
Khadijah
ain't
one.
on TikTok doing a
Khadijah.
busted challenge, right?
I am not. I did
Okay,
not,
all
and
right,
I
all
am
right.
not.
Yeah, because they probably like, damn, she need to do that busted challenge. No, but
You know what? I watch them, and they're very creative.
I don't like it. But anyway, I don't. You know, it's funny. I don't like that. I don't even like
So
twerking.
let me tell you something from a
Uh
business perspective,
huh.
because we this conversation is about business, right?
Yes.
The business behind that track that
Uh
they're
huh.
playing over and over again when everybody's going into the silhouette,
Uh huh.
they're getting a check.
Oh, absolute, actual facts. Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
imagine creatively somebody thought of that, and creatively, I think that's awesome. And people are now being discovered on TikTok because of that thought. You
Yeah,
know,
but I'm not. I'm just not into acting like an ass, so people could. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not into
again,
it.
it's a generational
Yeah,
thing. It's
I'm
not
not
your
into it.
thing.
No, but we got grown men that's older than us acting like
Just
asses for
doing,
likes. I
yeah,
just can't. It's just
yeah,
not in my DNA. I just feel like
yeah.
somebody just gonna grab me like, yo, what you
Each his
doing?
own.
Yeah, one of the OGs gonna be like, yo. So, uh, I do have last question. I do
Mhm.
have somebody who's a supporter of the channel named Kiara C. She wanted to know
Shout out to you.
3 books that every young black woman should read.
Nice question. Um, might be controversial. Uh, yeesh. Bible
Okay.
or Quran, whatever it is that you get some type of spirituality.
Okay.
The Art of War.
Okay. Sun Tzu. Okay.
Um, and the second one. That's three is hard because I have many that are women. Maya Angelou.
I don't know.
Um,
I
the
don't know.
one.
Go ahead.
Hmm?
I don't know
Yeah,
none of her books.
really.
Nah.
Maya Angelou speaks to looking within yourself,
Okay.
and she speaks to you honing in on loving yourself
Mm-hmm.
as a young lady, and um, discovering, learning to love that, and learning to be her. You know, learning to love the image of you, not what they want you to be. So anything Maya Angelou speaks to that.
That's dope.
Um,
Because wasn't she uh
Activist?
call girl before?
Oh, early in her
She
life,
was, right?
she had, yes, she
See
had
that
that
no. The reason why that's important because you can come out of anything if you want
adversity.
to. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I would like to give 3 books for Black women for read to read. I think it's a book by
Is it for me?
for read. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like I'm West Indian or something like that. But I think every Black woman should read a book by Elaine Brown. I think it's called Rise to Power. She was the actual leader of the Black Panthers at one point. When Huey was in jail, Elaine Brown wrote a book. Read the Mary Wilson biography too, called Dream Girls.
Mm,
So Mary Wilson, Dream Girls,
yes.
Elaine Brown, Rise to Power,
Hmm.
and I think everybody, man, woman, and child, should read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I
Malcolm X.
absolutely love that book.
Regardless,
Yes. So
as a female, you feel like,
yeah, because
yes,
you have the man, but then you have to also think from the mind state of what if you were Betty. So and then just seeing what Black men went through, go through, in the transition from being a piece of shit to
mm,
this great man. So
yes,
that's why I always tell people you can't give up on the youth, because you give up
absolutely,
on the youth, you never know what they're going to turn into. So Khadija, I am so
yeah.
happy we finally got it done. It's been only like 20 years in the making. But I wasn't even doing interviews then, but yeah, we used to just kick it and
I
be
will
at
say,
events. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, I will say about you
Hmm.
that you always knew, if you didn't know that you were going to be doing this, there was something special about you, and you always knew that you were going to do something big. I remember that early conversation.
Yeah, because I always had what I try to tell people, it's a focus that I go into. I almost could get scared a little bit because I'm like, hold up, I'm too locked in, I'm too in the zone, and I
Mm,
and I don't come out. You know what I'm
don't
saying?
change
Like
who,
and
don't
yeah,
change who you are.
yeah.
I'm
So
so grateful, and thank you so much for having me on this platform.
shout out to DV alias Christ, who
Shout out
yeah, because
to
Christ was just DV alias Christ. I think he would have probably got us both in the room and probably just like threw hot water on us or something for us to get this done. But
yes,
what I wanted from this interview is I wanted people to know your history. I wanted people to know
summer.
some of the trials. Yeah, because that
Yes,
was y'all have
that
no
was
idea.
skit,
That
skit,
was
skit,
just
skit, skit.
yeah, that was just a
Yes,
little something, something, something. But I
yes,
wanted people to know who you are. My thing is I've always believed in championing women in this
yes.
industry with that not because you are a woman and you did this and you did that. I
Hmm.
only know you for singing. That's the craziest thing about it. I can't say, oh, she did that. I don't. The only thing I know about her is that she sung on these songs, and that was it. So
There
what's
is
next for you though? Before we go, do you have anything
there's so
coming up?
much more. There's so much more. Absolutely. When we're speaking of DV alias Christ, we're working on
Yes,
numerous projects that we are excited about. So stay tuned. Stay
yes.
tuned.
So I'm gonna put what I'm gonna do, y'all. She's on Instagram. It's just simple. Instagram.com at Khadijah1.
Correct.
And I make sure that the in the description box is her Instagram. So y'all can
Hmm.
follow her on there. And it's really her on there. I don't think she got that many pictures up. She gotta step her picture game up though. You know what I'm saying? She's on there BSing a little bit, but it is what it is. And she's grounded because she had parents. That's very
Yes,
important.
she did.
Yeah,
She does.
yeah,
Thank God.
yeah. But she had parents coming
Yes.
up to where she couldn't even say nigga. You know what I'm saying? So
Didn't say the word.
yeah, so your cousin is in the chat room.
Yes,
Your cousin is in here, Elise Murray too. So we have to shout her out.
shout her out.
Yeah,
At
she's
least
make sure. So I'm gonna sign you out, close out the show. I appreciate you. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on here. I will build with
Thank
you
you
later
so
on.
much.
Yep. All right. I was trying to make her nervous too. So I'll talk to y'all later on. I mean, I'll talk to you later on. All right?
Yes.
Later.
All right.
All right, y'all. So that was Khadejia, also known as Khadejia Baz. Y'all can go follow her on social media. I'll make sure that her Instagram is the first comment after this video gets it has to like process a little bit. So after it processes, I will make sure she's the first comment on there. So if you want to follow her, you can follow her. She's cool. She really talk like that. I never even had an argument with her. She's never been a B. You know what I'm saying? And I think she should have been a B sometimes because of the way this industry, but she's still happy, humble, and she's not even angry at nobody. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we have to celebrate women. We have to celebrate, and we can't let people tell us who is our heroes in this industry. We create our own heroes, whether they sold 1,000,000 records or they sold 5 records. You know how I go. If you made one song I like, you coming on my platform. You ain't gotta have 20 records because music actually is a soundtrack of your life. You know, different songs. You remember I remember what girl I was dating, what haircut I had, what sneakers I was wearing, actually what I was doing at times. So when she made some of her records, I remember where it was at. And look, I don't even remember none of her solo records besides the one with Flex, but she contributed to so much music. I should have asked her about the plaques on her wall, but I'll bring her back when she's dropping something. And again, make sure y'all follow her on social media. It's very, very important. Let's support people that we want to support and not the people that they're trying to make us support. You know, we have to create and champion our own people. So with that, I'm Doggie Diamonds. You already know what I'm about to tell you to do. Do y'all listen? When I come on after this, do y'all listen? What does it tell you to do? Make sure you hit the matter of fact, I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna let my my outro tell you what to do. Listen. Here we go. Make sure you click subscribe, youtube.com/Doggie Diamonds TV. Until next time, peace.